In the video about proper pullbacks, we learned how to correctly identify corrections. Based on these corrections, we can construct a zigzag chart. And it is on this chart that we will learn how to identify the BOS choke. And as always, the first thing we look for on the chart is the impulse. In this case, the first impulse is located here. What does it tell us? It tells us that if the price breaks through this liquidity, we have the right to mark a point at the bottom. After the price pulls back lower, it is at this spot that we form a point called the BOS, meaning a break of structure. This is a sign of trend continuation, when the price updates the previous high or low depending on the direction of movement. In this example, we see how liquidity decreases with NDMI and the movement continues downward. This confirms that an upper point was previously formed, followed by a new lower point. Here the trend is downward. After the BOS is formed, the first pullback appears. However, it does not break any liquidity. Accordingly, the movement continues further down. And it might seem that this is exactly where you should mark the BOS, but you absolutely must not do this. The BOS is formed only after the IDMI is broken. And in this case, this point is a fake BOS. Very often in the smart money concept, this zone is mistakenly taken as a new structural point, after which the pullback is also considered structural. As a result, they draw a false conclusion about a trend reversal. But we understand that this pullback is just an IDM, and therefore this zone cannot be used. Only after the inducement is broken and the lower point is subsequently updated do we get a confirmed BOS. After the BOS is broken, we can mark a new upper point. This zone will serve as a level, the breakout of which will lead to a CHoCH. CHoCH stands for change of character, meaning a change in the nature of the movement. That is, a trend reversal. In this example, the price breaks the inducement and moves lower. Next, we mark a new BOS. Let me remind you of the rule once again. A BOS is formed only after new liquidity appears. Here we had the lower point of the BOS, then there was a pullback, a break of structure, and it is from this moment that the count for the new BOS begins. Next, the price reacts to the IDM, breaks downward and forms a point. If the price had not broken this zone, the point would again have been a fake BOS, and we would not have had the right to use it. We would wait for a further breakout, and only after that would we confirm the BOS. In this case, the IDM was broken, after which the BOS was formed. After it was broken, we can mark a new structural point. Now we've covered the BOS and the fake BOS. However, there are situations when the IDM gradually shifts downward, a local break occurs, but the structural low is not updated. And what happens when this point is broken? Since it is a structural high, its breakout leads to a CHoCH. Initially, the movement was downward and we were looking for shorts, but after this high is broken, the character of the movement changes and now we start looking for longs. We break through the IDM and get a CHoCH. In this range, the price did not go lower, but started moving upward. The first reaction happened exactly at this high. Now we will build the IDM, which is the internal demand model, with a significant long bias. The initial IDM was established here, but after the crucial high was broken, it subsequently moves over to this new position. Only after the IDM is broken do we have the right to mark the upper point, and once that point is broken, a BOS will form. Next, we see the following situation. The low is here and the high is here. When the high is broken to the upside and there is an IDM, we confirm the continuation of the upward structure and look for a new BOS. If the price had gone down, that would have meant another CHoCH, but that doesn't happen. The price collects the IDM, forms a new BOS, and we start looking for the next IDM. In this case, there is a first pullback, but the high is updated again. Here, a fake BOS forms again. This point cannot be marked as a BOS since there was no liquidity below and no proper pullback. We wait for liquidity to be taken from the IDM. Only after the IDM is broken can this point become a BOS. Until that happens, the BOS remains fake. So we get a move down, liquidity is taken, and a new point is formed. After the zone is broken to the upside, we confirm the BOS. If the move had gone down, that would have been a CHoCH, but at this stage that hasn't happened. We see yet another fake BOS. Thus, until the BOS is confirmed, we keep moving the structure higher. The CHoCH is moved in the same way. Initially it was here. When it was broken, a bearish CHoCH was formed. If the price had gone down, we would be looking for shorts, but that doesn't happen, so the CHoCH remains higher. Now let's go over some points that often cause confusion. In this example, there's a move down, a pullback, and then another move down. This point looks like the first liquidity, and it might seem like you should immediately mark the BOS here. However, the candle breaks the previous low, but closes above it. Such a BOS is not confirmed and is considered fake. We move the IDM higher and wait for confirmation. Confirmation will be a full-bodied candle closing below the previous low. Only after this do we move the BOS point. Sometimes the BOS can be swept several times before a proper close appears, the BOS remains unconfirmed, and the IDM is moved further. The same principle applies to the CHoCH. Next, let's look at an example on the GBP USD chart. The time frame is 15 minutes. We see the top point, the first proper pullback, after which we can mark the BOS. Its breakout confirms the continuation of the downward structure. The price sweeps the previous BOS, but it turns out to be unconfirmed. We wait for a full-bodied close, after which we move the IDM and look for a proper pullback. Then the price rises, breaks the top point, and a CHoCH occurs. It's at this point that we look for longs from here. After the CHoCH breakout, we look for the first proper pullback. We don't use the substructure since we're working on the higher time frame. Next, the price forms an IDM, breaks it, but then sharply falls on the news and confirms the CHoCH with a full-bodied close. If the close had been weak, the CHoCH would not have been confirmed. After this CHoCH confirmation, we trade the structure to the short side. Then the price forms a pullback, followed by a confirmed BOS, and continues moving downward. This is how BOS and CHoCH are identified in practice. With a bit of practice, you'll start to see this automatically. The main thing is, this will help you trade with the trend and avoid unnecessary stop losses. Goodbye, everyone.